A few days ago, I asked you a question. Should I do an AMA for YouTube? Could spark the beginning of regular content should there be an appetite for it. It cannot be related to KCD2 because NDA is still wrapped tightly around my plums. Plums being balls, in case anyone was wondering. If yes, vote here and leave a question in the replies, and I'll get to work. So as it turns out, some of you did leave replies. Looks like 92.9% of you said yes, my lord, and the other 7.1% said no, go away, you peasant. I empathise far more with the no, go away peasant. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why anyone would want this. This is going to be terrible. I fully expect to fail. This is pointless. I'm rubbish. Let's get to work. Let's just dive in. Let's just dive in straight into the fan questions, because why would we waste time? Alfonso asked the question, how is your relationship with Warhorse team, especially with the other actors? Thanks for all your work. Well, Alfonso, thank you for your lovely question. So my relationship with the Warhorse team is terrible. I hate every single one of them. I wish I'd never been involved in the project. I absolutely have nothing but disdain for it. I'm just kidding. No. I love them with all of my little baby heart. I'd frankly die. I'd die for them. I'd go to war for them. In fact, you could say that I have, in a way, in a weird way. If it's to be believed that I am, in fact, Hans Capon. And the other actors are all really stellar. And, of course, nothing but love and admiration and joy and greatness, gratefulness and love for Tom McKay. Who wouldn't love Tom McKay? Tom McKay is a G. A G. I love him. This is from Andre. Thanks, Andre. What do you think are the worst and best features of KCD 1? Because there's now 2, guys. And how they impacted on your first playthrough. And I don't know if you can answer this, but for you, has KCD 2 changed the features that you struggled with in KCD 1? I love your work in KCD 1. Don't give up. Never. I won't. But you have breached the contract that we made online when I said I will not be talking about KCD2, so I'm going to completely disregard your question, Andre, you absolute twat. I'm joking. Again, I'm a bit of a jokester. So I've only mostly played the game whilst being watched, streaming it for the fans, because I wanted them to see me experiencing the game for the first time. The tricky thing about that is that I find it's already quite a hard, challenging game. Okay? So it's already pretty tough. But then also trying to be entertaining, answer your guys' questions whilst I'm playing, it makes it nigh on impossible. But I manage it anyway, ish. I did quite well with the hare hunting with the bow. I thought I did quite well on that task with Hans. But what I would say I really like about the game is the immersion and the choice that you have. You can be an arsehole and you can be a really nice guy should you choose, just like in real life. I like to be a bit of both. How much Czech do you know? What was it like meeting Tom and the other cast for the first time and then acting with them as strangers almost? I don't know any Czech apart from Dobrý den, Dobrý den, Dobrý den. I couldn't figure out how to say thank you for the first 6 years of going out to Prague. It's so difficult, that language. It's so hard. I think I was saying dziękuję for thank you. And then someone was like, what are you saying? And when you don't know a language and you're really unsure of what you're saying, so you just kind of half-ass the word. I think I was doing that for ages. And then someone was like, it's not that. And now I can confirm that I do know how to say thank you in Czech, I think. And it's dziękuję, right? Please say that's it, because if it's still not right, is that it? Dziękuję. It's something like that. Don't hate me, Czech people. I love you all. Hi Luke, I remember when Stephen Ogg, who's the guy in GTA 5, the crazy guy Trevor, were calling him by the name of Trevor, so I'm interested in your thoughts. Do you like being called Lord Hans Capon? I learned long ago with this game that people are going to think that I really am the character, which is absolutely fine by me. I consider a fan base and being a part of a successful game an absolute joy and a privilege. And so for me, I don't really understand why Stephen would be getting upset about it. You know, you're lucky, bud. You're lucky to have been a part of it. So don't be upset about anything the fans do, unless they're hurling abuse at you. And don't do that, because then I will fucking kick off. I actually almost play up to it. I think it's quite fun. Even people at Warhorse kind of enjoy when I'm a little bit Capon-esque at times, and I enjoy it, and it's fun. And look, there are similarities. I won't go into how many, but there are similarities. Ben Sanford asked, can you talk a little bit about the mocap process and what that's like for you as an actor? It's a very different challenge in comparison to films, TV, or even theatre, because it's a little bit of mix of all of those things, but you're taking away all the reality. So you're not gifted with anything that you can hold on to for reality. There are no real cups or real bathtubs or real lakes. You are just in a ridiculous suit, in a grey, dull studio with about 30 people watching you in spandex. I mean, it's just the most stupid thing that you can possibly imagine, and I love it. What I will say is, you have to, as an actor, you have to employ your imagination. South Park reference. Much more than any other medium of acting. If you're in a film, you have all of the things in front of you. You don't really have to act, you just have to react and be. If you're in a theatre production, at least there's an audience there that you can bounce off of and use that energy. With motion capture, you haven't got an audience. You've just got people silently, and they have to be silent because you're recording, silently watching you and making sure you get it right. But you also have nothing helping you. So I actually have great respect for motion capture artists, because it is not easy, because you have to draw upon so much of what's in your head more than any other medium, and that's why some people can't actually do it very well, because it's a very specific task and it's not for everyone. In fact, there's a great story with Surya McKellen as Gandalf in The Hobbit, where he's working not motion capture, but he's in a green screen studio, and there's nothing visceral to work with to spark one's imagination, and he was struggling. And he got really depressed and upset, and they ended up, kind of having to cheer him up. And I was like, yeah, this isn't for everyone. This isn't for everyone. It's not easy, but I like it because it forces you to use that well of imagination inside of you. And I love a challenge. I bloody do, I. Blackburn Family Gaming said, okay, excuse my language, but why the fuck are you so awesome? That's a good question. Why am I? Look, you can't teach this stuff, man. You can't. It's God-given. And I'll leave it at that. Senix asks, cannot wait for KCD 2. It's going to be great. I know. My question is, what is your favourite moment from KCD 1? And I'm going to forget the rest of that. It's got to be the boar, hasn't it? It's got to be the boar. I think that's like, for me, it epitomises the relationship of Henry and Hans. It's very funny. It's very unexpected. It's the best bit. It's the best bit. It was very fun to film as well. Farouk asked, why did you become an actor in the first place? So I was in a play when I was about 11 years old and made everyone laugh, and the teacher said that I had a bit of a talent for this. And then my mum was like, okay, let's get him into drama school. So I didn't really have any focus or passion for anything at that age. I didn't know what I wanted to be or do. So my mum was like, right, here we go, we've got something. And then just kind of pursued it from there, and then I just kept going. And the only reason I kept going was because people told me I should. They were like, you're good at this. And I was like, am I? And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay. So I kept going, and then suddenly I was at like the big drama schools in London with all the famous people, and I was like, shit. And I just kept going and going, and then I graduated, and then I got jobs, and then I'm working at the BBC, and I was like, got this game, and I was like, oh. But then I did like nothing for years, and I got fed up, and I hated it, and it was like one of the darkest times in my life, and I quit, and I stopped acting, and then there was a pandemic, and I Oh. But then the sequel happened and they called me and then it sort of roped me back in. So I actually thought I was done with acting completely. I thought I was finished. And then Kingdom Come actually invited me back into the world of acting, which I am very grateful for. And now I'm a filmmaker. So that's what I do now, to answer your second question, which is what would you do if you weren't an actor? And now I make films. So I make documentaries, reviews of cameras, I make short films, I do all sorts of things, and I get to travel the world and make awesome stuff. And it's really exciting. And I don't think I'll ever want to give up either of these two things that I have. Acting and filmmaking are equally as valued to me, and I love them very much. James asked, do you have any plans to fledge out into other video game acting? Well, that's a good question. I would love to. But how acting works is you need an agent on your behalf sending you up for jobs, submitting you for work, and then those directors and casting directors say, hey, we like the look of this guy, come on in, we'll meet you for an audition or whatever. And unfortunately, I don't have an agent and I don't have representation. So I don't know where these jobs are going to come from. Someone would have to ring me up and say, hey, Luke, we'd like to represent you and send you up for work. But that I don't see that happening personally. If it happens, great, I welcome it, but I'm not gonna chase it because that will drive me insane. Landon asked, what scene shocked you the most when you mocapped it? I wasn't shocked by anything in KCD1. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but there are some pretty shocking things in number 2. But we're not going there. We're not going there. Leah asked, can you do the Macarena dance? And if yes, can you do it while drunk? Well, I've taken a bit of a sabbatical from drinking recently, but... You're welcome. Lolly asked, what was your favourite place, museum, historical building, restaurant, etc., to visit in Prague? Well, I have many. But my favourite restaurant is a place called Parliament. If you haven't been to Parliament, Parliament is amazing. They do traditional Czech food and it tastes unbelievable, and it's very me because there's this one dish. It's like a bird wrapped in meat, chicken wrapped in beef. It's just like meat wrapped in meat with meat on top, and then you just slice it with some meat and you meat. I just love meat, and it's just like amazing. So yeah, Toby, thank you for introducing me to that. The PR manager at Warhorse introduced me to that, and I go every time. Lupus54 said, who is the best at Farkle, you or Tom McKay? Obviously there's Roxy Sexy Biscuit, but she's semi-professional, so that doesn't count. Me and Tom trying to play Farkle would be like two blind men trying to do a jigsaw puzzle. I mean, the idea of it is a joke. I don't even know the first thing about Farkle. And, you know, maybe you could say, Luke, why aren't you more of a method actor? Like, shouldn't you be researching your role? I say to that, you know, fuck you, all right? I did my best. I don't know how to play Farkle. I'm sorry, I never will. I'll probably never learn. Nahuel asked, were you interested in video games before your role in KCD? Nahuel, come on. Right, I'm just going to roll through all my favourites from my youth right now, and you tell me in the comments if any of these resonate. Okay, these were my biggies. Okay, we got Def Jam, Fight for New York, Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle Earth, Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos, Age of Empires, RuneScape, Abe's Odyssey, GTA San Andreas, Tekken 3, Assassin's Creed, Need for Speed Underground 2, Prototype, FIFA 2003 and 4 to be specific, Gears of War, Bioshock, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, Medieval Resurrection, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Halo 3, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2000 and Spyro the Dragon. Now I'm probably missing a few, but that, my friends, is it. And I was a big gamer. Some of those games took up more of my time than others. I think I played Battle for Middle Earth 1 and 2 more than I was at school. I mean, truly. Nicholas asked, what other projects do you want to do in the upcoming years? I have a short film that I've written that I would love to get made. It's a fairly big budget for a short, but I'm really trying to get that off the ground. But other than that, crack on, you know, whatever comes my way. How or if did portraying Hans Capon change your life in any way? It completely changed my life. I have people online and in person these days who actually care about my existence more than they did before, which is wild. And I appreciate every last one of you. It's really fun to be a part of the community, and I will continue to be a part of the communities for as long as anybody wants me to. And I enjoy interacting with everybody, and that's been the greatest gift from being in the game, is like just engaging with lovely people on a regular basis. You'll be glad to know the final question of today is from Zuzana, and she said, did you enjoy being called Lord? You use it sometimes and it seems like you've got used to it and you love it. How did you end up working on a Czech game? I bloody love being called Lord, and you should all do it at all times. I ended up working on it because, as I said earlier, with being submitted by agents, I was submitted by my agent at the time, which was a very long time ago now, and I'm an old man now. Daniel Vavra saw the tape, and I think I read for Henry, and he went, he's not a Henry, but I think he's a Hans. So let's get him in. Of course, I flew out. I talked to the team and I read some scenes over a table, and at the end of that they said, yeah, welcome to the team. And the rest is history. Nearly 10 years on, here we are, still doing it. How? I don't know. I'm still playing a lord. Still playing a prince. Prince of Ratai. Yeah. Anyway, that's me done. I think you guys are probably fed up with this by now. Also, I should say, I've been drying my pants out there for the whole video. I hope no one cares, but I don't care if you don't care. We'll not tell anyone. Shh, it's just a secret between us. Thank you for joining me in this fantastic video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and maybe, just maybe, if you liked it, there'll be more, and I can answer more of your stupid, inane questions. Just kidding. I love you all, my fair, loyal subjects of Ratai. Goodbye.